What is the center in the United States politically? It is a monopoly of two political parties, their establishments, and by that, let's be very, very specific. By establishment, I mean Reagan and Bush on the Republican side and Clinton and Obama on the Democratic side. Those establishments have worked out a very cozy monopoly. And here's how it works. Both of them subsidize and support the capitalist economic system and no other economic system as their priority. They simply disagree on how best to do that. And we have two parties to work out that disagreement. They share power back and forth between one another in a usually very comfortable, casual almost kind of way. The ritual of elections and all of that, and the flipping from one to the other, which has had the effect, as most of you know, of making most Americans only very tangentially interested in what these parties are and do. Both parties preside over coalitions. At the head of the party, in terms of what really makes the decisions, are a relatively small number of people in both cases. Those people are Wall Street, the business elite of this country, the CEOs of the big corporations. In the Republican side, they organize a coalition because, of course, business and CEOs and Wall Street are tiny, altogether tiny minorities of the American people. They could not govern. They couldn't win an election for dog catcher. There's too few of them. So they need a coalition. They need to ally, to gather under their tent a large number of people by persuading those people that there's something in it for them to do that. So on the Republican side, who is in that coalition? White supremacists, we learned again, because they're prominent now, sometimes they're less so. Evangelicals, nativists, the anti-immigration people, rural folks, small businesses, gun enthusiasts, people with military connections, social conservatives, religious people. Not all in each group, that's not necessary, but big blocks of those people defined by those particular words are the targets and usually the successfully included in the Republican coalition. The Democrats do their kind of the equivalent. Once again, the people at the top, corporate CEOs, Wall Street bankers, big businesses are the core of the leadership, the core of the donorship, the people who keep it going. But they build a different coalition. There, in the Democratic case, they ally with women, with non-whites, with immigrants or the descendants of immigrants, with the rather more schooled or educated, with the more technically developed and focused, with the younger and with the more secular. You all know this. This is the game. And the two coalitions struggle to hold on to who they got and maybe bring in some of what the other ones got. And they do that to each other, and it goes on and on. And it did for much of the post-World War II period pretty comfortably. But it's not working now. And it's not working because these coalitions are falling apart. Why? Because the system is. Because the goodies that can be handed out, whoever is in power, aren't as goody, aren't as big, aren't as available as they once were. American capitalism is having a harder time of it. Again, look at how poorly we did as a system against COVID. Look how badly we've crashed, both in the 2008 and 9 economic collapse and the one that we're still emerging from now. This is a system in trouble. And as it's in trouble, the people at the top, the ones in charge, are following policies that are interesting. They're pushing the burden of adjusting to all these failures onto those who can least defend themselves, working class people, and especially the poor,